Thereupon, loud murmuring, which seemed to indicate approval, came from the other rooms. The gentlemen appeared to be doing something they would all have liked to do for a long time and had been obliged to leave undone only for some unknown reason. Was it perhaps the servants? Was it perhaps Frida that the gentleman hoped to summon by ringing? He would have to wait a long time. Frida was probably busy wrapping Jeremiah in wet towels, and even if he was better by now, she wouldn't have the time to come, for then she would be lying in his arms. But the ringing of the bell did have an immediate effect. The landlord of the Castle Inn himself came hurrying up from a distance, clad in black and neatly buttoned up as usual. But the way he ran suggested that he was forgetting his dignity. His arms were half outstretched, as if he had been called to the scene of some great disaster and was prepared to seize the cause of it, clamp it to his chest, and so stifle it. And with every little irregularity in the ringing of the bell, he seemed to jump in the air for a moment and then hurry even faster. And now his wife also appeared, a long way behind him. She too was running with her arms outstretched, but her steps were small and dainty, and Kay thought she would arrive too late. The landlord would have dealt with everything before she got there. Kay pressed close to the wall to give the landlord room to run by. But the landlord stopped right in front of him, as if Kay himself were his destination. And next moment, the landlady was there too. Both of them heaping reproaches on him, which in all the haste and surprise he didn't understand, particularly as the gentleman's bell joined in as well, and other bells began ringing too, not with any sense of emergency now, but just for fun and in an excess of high spirits. Since Kay was very anxious to discover exactly what he had done wrong, he was perfectly happy for the landlord to take his arm and frog march him away from all this noise, which was getting louder and louder. For behind them, Kay didn't turn to look because the landlord was talking to him, and the landlady on his other side was talking even more. Behind them, the doors now opened wide. The corridor was teeming with life. There seemed to be coming and going, as if it were a narrow but busy alley. The doors ahead of them were obviously waiting impatiently for Kay to come past, so that they could let the gentlemen inside the rooms out. And through all this, the bells rang as the gentlemen pushed them again and again, as if to celebrate a victory. And now, at last, they were in the quiet white yard again, where several sleighs were waiting. Did Kay gradually gather what it was all about? Neither the landlord nor the landlady understood how Kay could have done anything of the kind. But what exactly had he done? Kay asked again and again, although he didn't get the chance to ask for long, because his guilt was only too obvious to both of them, and they didn't believe for a moment that he was asking in good faith. Only bit by bit did Kay find out what the matter was. He had no right to be in the corridor. In general, he could enter only the bar, and that only as a favor, which could be withdrawn. If he had been summoned to see a gentleman, he must of course go to the place to which he had been summoned, but must always remain aware. He did have his wits about him, they imagined, like anyone else, that he was summoned somewhere where he did not belong, to which he had been summoned only by a gentleman, and very unwillingly at that, merely because official business required and justified it. He therefore had to turn up quickly, go through his hearing, and then disappear, even more quickly if possible. Hadn't he felt how very wrong it was for him to be there in the corridor? And if he had, then how could he have gone wandering around there like an animal out at pasture? Hadn't he been summoned to a nocturnal hearing? And didn't he know why such hearings were held at night? Such hearings, and here Kay did get a new explanation of the point of them, were held at night with the sole purpose of questioning members of the public, the sight of whom would be entirely intolerable to the gentleman by day, thus getting through the hearing quickly by night and in artificial light, so that directly it was over, the gentleman could forget all that unpleasantness in slumber. Kay's conduct, however, had made a mockery of all these precautionary measures. Even ghosts disappear when morning comes, but Kay had stayed there with his hands in his pockets, as if expecting that if he did not remove himself, the entire corridor might remove itself instead, rooms and gentlemen and all. And he could be sure, they said, that just that would have happened if it had only been possible, for the gentleman's feelings were extremely sensitive. None of them would drive Kay away, or even say, which was obvious, that he ought to go away. None of them would do that, although they were probably trembling with agitation all the time Kay was there and spoiling the morning for them, their best time of day. Instead of taking any proceedings to get rid of Kay, they preferred to suffer in silence, although, no doubt, hoping that Kay would finally see what was so strikingly obvious, when he himself would suffer to the point where the pain of it was intolerable and matched the gentleman's own suffering. For it was so very wrong to be standing here in the corridor in the morning, where everyone could see him.